Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is me starting off with our geometry for the month of January. It's been a while since I did these ones because of Mr. Glure being here, but he's gone and I'm back. So remember to check these videos out. They are great for studying. They can be done really quickly, and if I'm busy or you need a little bit of refresher while you're doing your homework, this is a great place to start. So I wrote supplementary angles, and it's the one we did second, but we're okay with that. Supplementary angles, as you can see, are two or more angles that total 180 degrees. So you're always starting with a straight line. Straight line is 180 degrees. And now we put an angle in it, or maybe two, but still when you add them up, it's going to total 180. Remember how excited we were to learn that this is really just an algebra question, and even though you may know what 180 minus 140 is and you want to go straight to the answer, it's the whole idea of practicing our algebra and getting good at it for next year. So that's why we make you do all the steps except a check. So for this question here, where this is x, we don't know what it is, and this is 140, remember I told you that the whole thing is going to equal 180. So we write that as x plus 140 is equal to 180 degrees. In order to get rid of that 140, remember we do the opposite operation. So we're going to get rid of it there, and we're going to get rid of it over here. They'll cross out. This will leave x, and 180 minus 140 is 40 degrees. And the proof that we use to do it is just called sup. This is really important because when you get marked on this on a test, you get 1 mark for all your work, 1 mark for a right answer, and 1 mark for your proof. So each question is basically a 3-mark question. We did very well when we did those today in class. Then it jumps to one that's a little harder, only that there are 3 angles total, 2 that you know about. But it's the same way that we did this one. Doesn't matter what order you do it in. So I'm going to do m plus 60 plus 35. And since it is a straight line, it's going to equal 180 degrees. The first thing we want to do here is collect like terms. So m plus 95 is equal to 180. Now I got to isolate m by itself, so we're going to get rid of that 95 by subtracting it from both sides. Equals 180 minus 95. Cool. So those are gone. M will equal 85 degrees. And the way I got that again was supplementary. And if we're looking for our test, 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark. It's important you do all your work. Without it, you will not get full marks. All right, so we're going to move to the next page, which was actually the first thing we did. I know that sounds backwards, but these are our complementary angles, and those are 2 or more angles that equal 90 degrees. Now remember, you're always starting with a right angle triangle, and you can see, oops, not a triangle, my bad, a right angle. And you can tell that's a right angle by this box that will be located in the bottom left. I know my hand sketches aren't perfect 90-degree angles. Go with me a little bit here. But those are 90-degree angles. Just trust me. So when we go to write out our answer, you start with what you know. In this case, it would be 20 plus m, which we don't know. But we know that the whole thing is going to equal 90 degrees. We have to isolate for m, which means we have to get rid of that 20. The only way to do that is to subtract 20 from that side. And of course, you would subtract 20 from this side. M, therefore, will equal 90 minus 20. That's 70 degrees. And last time, all of our proofs were sup, but this is complementary. So our proof is just comp. We did a bunch of practice ones the other day, but we can make it just a little bit harder. And this is hard because it has 3 angles in it, but it's still going to equal that same 90 degrees. So if we were to write this one out, change my colors just to mix it up a little bit, it's going to be x plus 50 plus 10 equals 90 degrees. Now, the first thing we want to do is collect those terms. 50 and 10 is 60, and that equals 90 degrees. And I have x plus 60, I got to get rid of it, minus 60 equals 90 minus 60 over here. Of course, those disappear. X equals 30 degrees. And our proof that you must put, so I know how you got it, is comma. Remember, if we're marking it, one for your work, one for a correct answer, one for your proof. The last one we have to do is opposite, and you're going to love opposite the best because it's the easiest. It's the least amount of work. Opposite angle theory basically says that when two lines cross, the angles that are opposite of each other are equal. So in this case here on the two angles or two lines on our left, this one is opposite this, just like this X is opposite 130. They're this way to each other. And if they are opposite, they are equal. So this one you can do very, very quickly. All you have to say is X equals 130. There's no work to be done because of OPP, opposite. That's all the work you have to do. You see an opposite angle, you just state, that's opposite, here's your answer. If we're going to do the one over here, we have a couple opposite. The one that is opposite 45 is not B, because this would be supplementary, and we're not talking about supplementary. So, let me move this out of the way here, let me back that up. We're not talking about supplementary, we're talking about opposite, and obviously opposite of 45 is that A. So for here, all we have to say is A equals 45 degrees because of opposite. And that gives me a right answer and a proof. And in the same way that A was opposite 45, B is opposite 135. So B is going to equal 135 degrees because of OPP, or opposite. And that's not too hard. You will get a few questions that they start to build, and by Thursday, Friday, they are a little trickier. But remember, when you're doing it the next couple days, whatever you're doing, it only has three possible answers: complementary, supplementary, or opposite. Start by looking for any 90 degrees. If you don't see an angle in there with a little square on the bottom, you can throw out opposite. Now you're only looking for two. If you don't see any opposite angles, you're looking for supplementary. You can do this as a process of elimination. I'm going to go through just two examples because the best way to get good at this is to practice. But I'm going to just turn the page here, go through two examples that are multi-step ones, and then put this to rest. All right, so here we go. Here's a question. It wants us to find A and B. You have to decide what you want to do first. Sometimes you won't be able to do one letter or one variable before doing the other. But in this case, we can take either way. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find A, because just by looking at it, I can see that it's opposite. There are two lines crossing. If I kind of put my hand over this section right here so I can't see it, then all I really see left is two crisscrossing lines, and I know that opposite are the same. So I know that this is 35, so I know that A will be 35 degrees. And again, I have to put my proof, which is opposite. So if I want to label it on my diagram, that's going to be 35. Now I have to do B, and I can't do opposite again because there's two angles over here and I don't know what they are. So that's not going to help me. But what you do again is you kind of cover up some information. And if I was to look at it, I'll use a color, I could take this angle right here, this straight line. And I know straight lines are 180 degrees. And I know this is 35, but I don't know what this is. So again, when we do this, we can just say B plus 35 is equal to 180 degrees. We know that. Don't worry about all this information up here. We're not interested in it right now. We're just going to use the bottom piece to find out what B is. Anyhow, to isolate for B, we have to get rid of that 35. B plus 35 minus 35 is equal to 180 minus 35. And B, therefore, equals 145 degrees. And we know if it's 180, that was supplementary angle theory. There's one. I only have one more. Here it comes. Again, this is very similar to the one above it. I'm going to do T first, and t is opposite. So that's my easiest one. T is equal to 145 degrees because of op. And now I have to find z, but and I'll write this up here, by the way, 145. And I'm going to use this angle here. It's still going to be z plus 145 degrees equals 180. I have to get rid of it. Isolate the variable by performing the opposite operation to both sides. It was addition, so now I'm going to subtract. So minus 145. And that goes gone. Z is equal to, let's see, that's 50, it's 35 degrees. And that is going to be supplementary again. So there's just two examples of how to do these questions. They get easier with practice, but we will start adding triangles and parallel lines and other things to it. So just keep working on it. Don't stress. You'll get it. Ask me lots of questions.